Are we our thoughts? A question that might seem simple, but is it really? Welcome to a quest where we'll unravel the essence of thought, an exploration that delves into the depths of our minds, seeking answers to questions we often overlook. Let's begin with a straightforward query. Are we our thoughts? Are these fleeting moments of consciousness that dart through our minds, defining who we are? A notion at first glance that seems quite plausible. After all, our thoughts shape our perceptions, guide our actions, and influence our emotions. They form the narrative of our lives, giving voice to our inner selves. Yet, there's an alternative perspective, suggesting that we're not necessarily our thoughts. It argues that thoughts are separate entities, independent from our core selves. They're transient, coming and going, much like waves on a shoreline. We observe them, experience them, but do they truly define us? We'll delve into this debate, presenting arguments from both sides. We'll discuss how some believe our identity is intricately intertwined with our thoughts, forming a cohesive whole. We'll explore the separation theory, which proposes that we are distinct from our thoughts, capable of observing and controlling them. This discussion will lead us to another intriguing question. Should we strive to control our thoughts? Is it even possible to rein in these ephemeral entities that seem as uncontrollable as the wind? And if we can, what power does this control bestow upon us? As we navigate through these deep waters, we'll strive to illuminate the nuanced relationship between us and our thoughts. It's a journey that promises to challenge our preconceptions, provoke introspection, and perhaps even transform our understanding of ourselves. So, are you ready to embark on this intriguing intellectual expedition? To probe the corners of your mind you might have never ventured into before? To question, to ponder, to reflect? Dive with us into the depths of this thought-provoking question. Some argue that thoughts form the core of our identity. This perspective is not without merit. Consider how our thoughts shape our decisions, actions, and ultimately, our personality. We are not simply passive receivers of thoughts. Instead, we actively create them based on our experiences, beliefs, and knowledge. These thoughts, in turn, guide our decisions and actions. For instance, if you continually think about being a successful entrepreneur, you're likely to make decisions and take actions aligned with that goal. Our thoughts also play a significant role in shaping our personality. If you're constantly engaged in positive thinking, you may become more optimistic and resilient. On the other hand, if you often indulge in negative thoughts, you may develop a more pessimistic outlook. Additionally, our thoughts can influence how we interact with others. If you view people around you as kind and trustworthy, you are more likely to form strong, positive relationships. Conversely, if your thoughts are filled with suspicion and mistrust, it may lead to strained relationships. But it's also important to note that our thoughts do not exist in isolation. They are influenced by our environment and experiences. If you've grown up in a nurturing environment, your thoughts may reflect this positivity. However, if you've faced hardship and adversity, your thoughts may carry traces of these experiences. Furthermore, our thoughts often reveal our deepest desires and fears. They act as a mirror, reflecting our inner selves. If you often find yourself dreaming about exploring different parts of the world, it might indicate a deep-seated desire for adventure. Similarly, if you constantly worry about losing your job, it might reflect a fear of instability. In essence, our thoughts are not just random, fleeting entities. They are intricately woven into our identity, shaping our actions, our personality, and our interactions with others. They are influenced by our past and present, and they hold clues to our deepest desires and fears. So, can we say that we are indeed our thoughts? It seems plausible, doesn't it? After all, our thoughts are a reflection of who we are, what we want, and what we fear. But what if thoughts are separate entities from us? This daring question takes us on a quest into the realm of the separation theory. This theory proposes a fascinating concept, that our thoughts may not be as intrinsic to our identities as we've always believed. Rather, they might just be separate entities, visitors, if you will, in the vast universe of our minds. Consider this: our thoughts are constantly influenced by a myriad of external factors. The books we read, the people we meet, the experiences we have, all have a profound impact on the thoughts that cross our minds. Even the weather or the time of day can change the way we think. If our thoughts were truly a part of our core selves, would they be so easily swayed? Let's take it a step further. Have you ever found yourself thinking something and then immediately wondering, why on earth did I think that? This happens because sometimes our thoughts do not accurately represent our true selves. They can be random, chaotic, and even counter to our beliefs. Imagine your mind as a vast, bustling city. Thoughts are like the people who populate this city. Some are residents, deeply ingrained and consistent with your core self. Others are just passing through, influenced by external factors or fleeting emotions. They don't define the city, but they contribute to its vibrancy and dynamism. Moreover, we often have the power to choose which thoughts we entertain and which we dismiss. If thoughts were an integral part of us, would we be able to dismiss them so easily? This ability to control our thoughts further supports the idea of them being separate from our core selves. So, if thoughts are separate entities, what does that say about us? It suggests that we are more than just our thoughts. We are the observers, the controllers, the hosts to these transient visitors. This brings us to ask, are thoughts merely visitors in the temple of our minds? Some might say that we are not our thoughts, but we have the power to control them. This perspective steers us towards a sense of agency, a belief that we are not simply passive recipients of our thoughts, but active directors of them. Consider this. When you are engrossed in a thrilling novel, you are not the characters, the plot, or the emotions evoked. However, you hold the power to close the book, to pause, to reflect, or to continue reading. In a similar vein, our thoughts are like chapters in a book. They add depth and detail to our lives, but we are not them. We have the autonomy to choose our reactions, to engage or disengage, to give power or take it away. This viewpoint can have a profound impact on our mental health and overall well-being. By distinguishing ourselves from our thoughts, we can cultivate a healthier relationship with them. When thoughts of fear, doubt, or negativity arise, we can observe them, understand them, without being consumed by them. This, in essence, is the power of controlling our thoughts. But what does it mean to control our thoughts? It doesn't mean suppressing or ignoring them. It means acknowledging their presence, understanding their nature, and then deciding how much influence they should have over our actions and emotions. It's about harnessing the power within us to steer our thoughts towards positivity and productivity, while also knowing when to let go of thoughts that do not serve us. The beauty of this perspective is that it allows us to see thoughts as tools, not masters. They are instruments that can be used for self-reflection, problem-solving, and creativity, but they need not define our self-worth or dictate our emotions. So, are we our thoughts? Perhaps not, but we are the curators of them, the directors of the internal narratives they create. We have the power to control them, to channel them in a way that serves our growth and well-being. Is it then our responsibility to master our thoughts? We've taken a deep dive into the ocean of thoughts, exploring different perspectives. We started our journey by examining the essence of thought, considering it as the pulse of our consciousness, the lifeblood of our mind. We pondered upon the idea that our thoughts might be the very fabric of our existence, weaving together our perceptions, experiences, and emotions. We explored how, in many ways, our thoughts shape our reality, influencing how we perceive the world around us and how we interact with it. Then, we ventured into the territory of identity, asking ourselves whether our thoughts form the core of who we are. We reflected on the many ways our thoughts shape our personality, our values, our beliefs. We considered how our thoughts can be a reflection of our inner selves, an echo of our desires and fears, hopes and dreams. But we also acknowledged that thoughts can sometimes be intrusive, not always representative of our true selves. Next, we delved into the separation theory, contemplating the notion that our thoughts might be separate from us. We examined the idea that thoughts are like clouds passing by in the sky of our mind, temporary and transient, not defining who we are. We pondered upon the possibility that we might be the sky, not the clouds, the observer of thoughts, not the thoughts themselves. Then, we discussed the power of controlling thoughts, the capacity to steer our mind towards positivity and away from negativity. We explored the idea that we have the power to choose which thoughts to entertain and which to let go, that we can cultivate a garden of positive thoughts and weed out the negative ones. As we conclude, let's remember that thoughts are powerful, but they do not have to control us. They are part of us, but they do not define us. We are more than our thoughts, more complex, more multifaceted. We are the observer, the thinker, the dreamer, the creator. So as we step away from this exploration, let's keep pondering, keep questioning, keep exploring. Because the quest of understanding ourselves is never ending, always evolving, always deepening. As we conclude, ponder this. If we are not our thoughts, then who are we?